I bought a pizza for $2. I carried the pizza home. Pizza. Pizza. It's the kids' favorite. My name is Melanie, and I'm 46 years old. My husband's name is Josh, and he's 49 years old. We have a son named Steve who is in his 3rd year of high school, and a daughter named Sherry who is in her 1st year of high school. I'm just an ordinary housewife. Today, I bought a pizza on sale for $2 at my usual supermarket and came home feeling great. I prepared steak, pizza, and fried chicken, which are my children's favorites. While smelling the aroma of the food, I waited for everyone to come home. My son said,
"The smell of pizza is everywhere."
He was the first to come home.
Pizza today?
You guessed it.
We've been eating it all the time.
Then my daughter came home.
Ah. Pizza today. It smells so good.
I know, right?
I'm happy.
Our food is very popular in our house. Now, all that's left is my husband. I waited for him to come home, but he didn't come home for a while. Should we eat without him? In the end, my children and husband ate separately. After that, my husband came home around 11 o'clock. Huh? Wasn't today a no overtime day? His company requires him to leave work on time every Wednesday.
Yeah, but there were some things going on.
My husband replied in a somewhat blunt tone. I wonder if something unpleasant happened at work. But even such a bad mood can be blown away by Odin. I see. Well, have some steak and relax, it's a feast today. However, contrary to my high spirits, my husband sighed and said,
I don't need it because I already had dinner.
Really? I felt down. Pizza was on sale for $2 today. I thought it was perfect.
You're getting fat because you eat pizza all the time.
What? I was stunned by the words I had never heard from my husband's mouth. He sighed, took off his tie, and headed to the bath. I was left alone in the living room with the feast. Since that pizza incident, my husband's attitude has become colder day by day. He comes home after 9 p.m. on weekdays and goes out somewhere on weekends. Even if I ask him where he's going, he just says,
It doesn't matter.
When I press him for more information, he says,
It's not worth telling you.
It's too much. On a certain Sunday, when I was feeling uneasy, my daughter came home from work in the evening. She shouted at me with a loud voice at the entrance.
Hey, Mom.
What's wrong? Before I could ask, she said,
He was meeting Mia at Starbucks today.
She trembled with anger. Mia. I froze. Mia was my friend from college. She comes to visit me occasionally, so my daughter knows her. She's a flashy lady who doesn't look like she's the same age as me. No way.
It's gotta be cheating. And they were holding hands. They didn't care if they were caught. After all, Starbucks is right across from the amusement park where I work. They knew I would find out.
What a shock. I slumped down at the entrance. My son heard the commotion and came down from the 2nd floor.
I thought he was cheating too. He's been looking at his smartphone and grinning all the time. You're too nice, Mom.
What a mess. What a mess. I waited for my husband to come home with my daughter and son to get to the bottom of this. And at night, my husband came home. As soon as he entered the living room, I threw him a question. Hey, what were you doing with Mia? My husband didn't make any excuses and said,
I was meeting her.
According to my husband, they met on the way back from work. He was reading a book at a bookstore at the transfer station when he was next to her. And while they were drinking tea and talking, he fell in love with her. Mia said, "I'm lonely without someone else. I'm tired of being single and working." They spent the night together and became intimate. I was shocked because... Why? We've been getting along for 20 years.
It's because of those 20 years. You've gotten fat and become just an old lady in 20 years. You're not a woman. But I thought about it while I was with Mia. I want to be in love forever. I want to be young.
Huh? My head went blank. Mia is certainly single and beautiful. Compared to her, I am, but we've been getting along as a family. I squeezed out my voice.
We ended up in a relationship while we were getting along. I don't feel any excitement for you anymore.
My husband slipped past me as I sat down. There is no more love. I understood that. That's why my husband wants to break up with me, because of his coldness. But I can't say goodbye like that, because I have a high school son and daughter. My heart aches at the thought of their father leaving the family. I thought of various ways to stop the divorce. The best one, which I think anyone would come up with, is to have my real parents say a word. So I headed to my husband's parents' house. However, when I went to my husband's parents' house and explained the situation, I didn't get the warm words I wanted to hear. First, my father-in-law said, "Cheating is also called a man's worth. It's not a bad thing for a woman to be popular at this age." My mother-in-law also said, "It's the wife's fault that she's being cheated on. Like the wife can't cook delicious meals, or the wife skips cleaning, or the wife hoards laundry, or the wife doesn't clean the bath." I couldn't stand it anymore. "I'm doing everything," I shouted, interrupting her words. Mother-in-law said, "What do you think?" My mother-in-law laughed through her nose. And she said, "As proof, can you maintain an appearance that you're not ashamed to walk with your husband?" My father-in-law also laughed at me, saying, "Your belly is on your pants." When I returned home, my husband was already there.
Hey, did you go to your parents' house today? I got a message that said, cheating is the wife's fault, but what do you think?
Huh? My husband had already been contacted. But we have a family. Before I could say anything, my husband replied in a monotone voice.
My parents to know. Now that my parents know, there's no choice but to get a divorce.
He seems to want to get divorced so badly that he doesn't care about the reason. He just wants to start a new life with Mia. I could only say, "I'll mediate and stamp it." In the end, I asked a lawyer for help. Of course, I want to receive child support. Since I will have custody of my 2 children, I thought I should ask a lawyer even if it costs money. I should be able to get compensation because my husband's infidelity was the cause.
In the end, he abandoned us. Don't keep whining about it.
My daughter also said brightly,
Let's live together as a family of 3.
Both of them asserted that they have no attachment to someone who leaves with a selfish attitude like I want to regain my happy home and youth. Especially, my daughter was outraged by the insensitivity of showing off her date with someone else at her sensitive age. I begged the supermarket where I bought that pizza and got a part-time job. For now, I have to send my son and daughter to college. A few months have passed since then. As for our life, I think it's good that I work here because the supermarket manager who hired me sometimes says, "You can take home the leftover food." There was no change in our life, especially since my son and daughter are high school students and almost adults. I think that's really good. I was giving my children a lunchbox filled with love every day. In the meantime, my ex-husband called me.
Can I come over and talk to you?
I thought there was nothing to talk about, but my son and daughter behind me said, "Isn't it okay?" We also have something to say, so I decided to listen to them. On that weekend, my ex-husband came over.
I bought Steve's favorite cookies and Sherry's favorite cream puffs as souvenirs.
he said, handing them over. Thank you, I replied in a monotone voice. It was the same tone he used when he said, "Oh, I didn't want my parents to know that day." "So, what do you want?" Suddenly, he said.
I was wrong, please let me back into your family.
Huh? What does he mean by wanting to leave and come back on his own? Both my children and I looked down at him with cold eyes as he. According to him, after living with Mia, he realized that their financial sense did not match at all. Mia has a good style and looks beautiful. They can enjoy the night view and champagne together. My ex-husband told her that it's nice to be in love forever and decided to divorce me and switch to her. Mia seems to have said that she is tired of working, so he allowed her to quit her job and said, "I'll support you from now on. I have the financial power to support 2 children and a wife, so it's easy for me to support you alone." Even someone of the same sex as me can tell that Mia is neat and tidy. Of course, she wears brand name clothes and makeup, and her good figure is the result of going to a sports gym. She also goes to another personal gym on weekends. Mia's original job was a well-paying night job. That's why she was able to live such an elegant life. If she quits her job, my ex-husband's income alone cannot cover the luxury she has been enjoying. Mia, who can no longer live such a luxurious life, is becoming increasingly dissatisfied and is swearing at him, saying, "Earn more money." On the other hand, he is an indoor person and has no money. He said he wants to spend more time at home without going to the gym on his days off, but they have big fights over their different values. To make matters worse, he has never tasted her cooking since he started dating Mia. Of course, she wouldn't eat a $2 pizza at a fancy restaurant, or a salad for body making. It's too lightheaded to abandon your family for a late-life romance without confirming your life values. And it's too terrible to say that you want to go back to the way things were because it didn't work out. We've been together since your low-paying days. And how much do you think I've improved my saving skills to feed 2 children? Don't look down on housewives' efforts, I said with contempt. My son and daughter nodded in agreement. My son spoke with a serious face unlike usual.
Even if I can't go to Disneyland, I had fun just because my mother made sandwiches and took me to the park. Dad is like a flying fish. He goes after shiny things, gets caught in a net, and now he wants to go back to the sea. He left the small happiness at his feet and went to a different place, and now he wants to go back because it didn't work out. Do you think small happiness is something you can just say, "It's okay to"? Stop looking down on small happiness.
He said in a harsh lecture. My ex-husband said.
I also think that. I was blinded by shiny things I regretted. I've been bad until now. But family is important, right?
My son's strong words made my ex-husband's eyes swim, and he barely said that. Family is important? What now? What does someone who easily threw it away say? My daughter, son, and I looked at my ex-husband with cold eyes. He didn't even realize it and started talking more foolishly. My ex-husband said.
I went to your parents' house because I thought it would be better for you to hear it from them.
He seemed to be saying that he was right. At that moment, my son and daughter spewed out their Coke. My son choked on it. Did you tell my parents that embarrassing story? I was so amazed that I couldn't say anything.
Didn't you do something similar before we got married?
I assent that completely different from this. I instinctively retorted, but I decided to listen to the rest of what he had to say.
Then, there was no way to say it to you, so I went to your parents' house. A man without worth is a man's responsibility. Don't talk to a guy who left his cute daughter and 2 grandchildren and lost consciousness. It's a difference in values.
Hey, who are you to talk about good and bad values, ex-husband? Your values are messed up in the first place. While I was thinking that, my smartphone rang. It was an email from my parents. Your ex-husband came over today. He's disgusting. Don't let him come again. I burst out laughing. I showed it to him as it was.
Oh, I loved your grandpa and grandma.
My son suddenly said in a monotone voice. My daughter also said.
I didn't want Grandma to know.
My son barked out his pent-up frustration.
This worthless man is our father, and his head structure and behavior are incomprehensible. Mom, we have to break up with this guy.
The boomerang of what my ex-husband said to me, I didn't want my parents to know we have to break up, came back to him. In the end, you abandoned us. Do you think we'll say yes when you say you want to come back?
You said you didn't have any more love for me, but you also lost your love for your family.
The form of love changes as you get older. When I was little, I loved Mom, but now it's thank you, Mom. What's that about wanting a love like 20 years ago?
My ex-husband couldn't say anything anymore. Then my son delivered the final blow.
I actually got into Stanford University with a recommendation.
What? Congratulations.
Don't say it. I don't want to be congratulated by you. If anyone asks about the family, I'll say that my father is no longer here. I refuse to have a father who doesn't understand family love.
My daughter also followed up.
Don't invite him to my wedding. I don't want to read a letter from the bride for you. Just go back to your sparkling waste woman.
Wait. What about my food and cleaning?
He tried to insist on something incomprehensible, but we kicked him out with cookies and cream puffs he brought as souvenirs and locked the door. Afterwards, my ex-husband quit his job in despair. He seems to be doing odd jobs such as cleaning sports gyms and selling fake brand name products. According to stories I heard from classmates, Mia has returned to her night job. Perhaps because she quit the sports gym halfway, her weight rebounded too much, and she can no longer wear her old clothes. A friend who works in clothing correction has witnessed her asking for a size up in slim dresses, which is also funny. $2 pizza. It's a bargain. I held a pizza I received from my workplace supermarket and went home. Pizza. Pizza. Tonight, we have pizza, steak, and fried chicken. In the end, I was hired as a full-time employee at that supermarket. My customer service attitude was evaluated. And in the end, my ex-husband broke up with Mia. Mia said, "You don't have any money. How did you manage to live like that?" They couldn't stand each other anymore. He had no self-sufficiency because he had never done laundry or cleaning properly, so his newly rented single room became a garbage dump. And still, he keeps pestering me with emails saying, "Clean up, cook for me, let me see the kids," so I completely blocked him on my phone.
I'm going.
Today is my son's university entrance ceremony. My son, dressed in a suit, looked suddenly grown up. Take care. I was about to cry. My son opened the front door and turned around.
Mom. Thank you for everything until now. Please take care of me from now on too.
The door closed and the tears I had been holding back burst out. Congratulations on your enrollment. Congratulations on your first step into adulthood. My daughter tapped my shoulder.
Let's get ready quickly. Let's go see our brother's graduation ceremony.
Yeah, bathed in the bright spring sunshine, I began to prepare.